When I had to, because Hart's been bullying me with the country accents. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Eclipse Cathedral FPS. You can tell I'm prepared. I am your guest player? Question mark. Um, Extraterrestrial, otherwise known as Doc Toonkind, local mad scientist of the Eclipse Cathedral server. And today I'm joined by the lovely, the wonderful, the amazing, the threatening.
Heartless. Hello, hello, hello. It is me. I am the darkness. And I am here. I'm not going to introduce my character just yet because I think it will be fun for me to just describe him when he actually walks in. So
Well, let me explain who I'm playing. I'm playing a character that I never thought I would be playing in an FPS, who is an awful, horrible bastard UPA man, Myra Maines. Uh,
you can do it.
oh no, I'm just laughing at the fact that I'm actually playing him. He's been a backstory character this entire time. Um,
Same.
so, uh, let me start by describing the Maines talent agency, because Myra Maines is a wanted man pretty much everywhere except for Jiznep. No, I don't know why. Plot convenience. Um, Essentially, Myra Maines runs a wonderful little talent agency, but he only has one agent, or one talent at the moment. But that's not a problem for this man, because he has lots of other connections. The talent agency is just a little bit of ways off the regular Toontown path. It looks like a normal building on the outside, and on the inside, it looks about the same as well. And inside, Myra is simply working at some paperwork. Nothing exciting happening today, which means it's someone's problem.
Um, I have a few more questions. Is there like a foyer sort of situation?
Yeah, there's a waiting room, and there is a front desk.
Mm-hmm. And who's manning the front desk?
Um, an older Muppet-born lady.
Okay. So I guess this is my turn. Um, so it's quiet at the agency until uh, t- kind of tall, half orc gentleman walks in, and he kind of has to duck a little through the door to avoid scraping his antlers against the frame of the door. And he walks up uh, to the Muppet born and gives her a nice, uh, slightly toothy smile, which is of course interfered with by his tusks, just a little bit. And he gently knocks on the desk, and he says, "Well, howdy. Uh, is this the talent agency I've heard so much about?"
And the Muppet-born lady looks up because she's a bit of a sloucher, and there is a moment where she's terrified because there's another no, it's another one of Myra's pert people, isn't it? Uh, and kind of goes, yes, this is the Maine's talent agency. What can I do for you today?
Well, I don't want to get you in trouble, but I feel like I have to talk with the person in charge.
And she kind of pushes up her glasses and goes, Yes. Let me check the books real quick. And she leans down and opens up a sort of schedule book, and she flips to today's date, and it is miraculously empty. Uh, and she goes, yes, he doesn't seem to be busy today. He should just be back in his office. You'll want to go down that door. Go through that door." And she points to the door to her right.
Mhm.
And then take a go all the way down. It's the last door. Don't go into any of the other rooms. I don't know what all he's got back there.
Thank you kindly. Um, don't be so nervous. And he just gives her a kind of nice smile, and he turns and follows her directions. His braided hair kind of drifting behind him. And Myra, you get a polite knock at your door.
And he uh glances up and goes, hello? Come in.
And the door opens to a tall half orc man. He's got dark hair. Um, you know, general green skin for a half orc. And he's got
Mm-hmm.
particularly gold eyes. And he just kind of
Oh, Myra likes gold.
and he's generally dressed like someone who's not from Einquell. Specifically more from continents beyond Faruma.
Hmm.
So he's got a cloak, he's got some kind of tunic, he's got trousers, he's got boots. All very equipped for a more D&D-esque setting. And he's got, well, a rather large great sword strapped to his back, which I forgot to mention earlier, but I will mention that now. And his horns are white and kind of no horns, antlers. His antlers are white and kind of fuzzy, like antlers.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives Myra a smile uh, and says, I know I don't have an appointment, but can I talk to you?
Oh, oh, that's not a problem today. I'm quite empty for my schedule today. He cocks an eyebrow at the person before gesturing at the seat across from his relatively neat desk and just kind of goes, "Well, come take a seat. Tell me, what brings you to my lovely little talent agency today?"
I appreciate the offer. And he closes the door behind him and comes over and very carefully arranges it so the great sword doesn't damage the chair as he sits down. Which means he's probably leaning a bit forward on the chair.
That's okay. Myra is also taller than the average Toon, so uh, I point. He's like 6 foot, actually.
Okay, so think correctly. I don't remember how tall I said he was. But I guess I'm gonna make a decision, and this half
Presumably
orc,
taller than Myra.
this half orc is a couple of inches taller than Myra is. Not by
Yeah,
very much.
that's fair.
And of course, the antlers add like 2 or 3 feet. Not feet, inches. 2 or 3 inches. Jeez
Yeah.
Louise. Feet
giant
is
antlers.
no, feet is this is not a tune. This is a real kind. It's inches.
Which it's the fact that this is a real kind that's got Myra's interest, because normally the people he deals with are Toons, because he lives in Toontown. Uh, and he kind of leans forward with his hands clasped together and goes, "So, what brings a real kind to my little neck of the woods?"
Well, you see, I've been traveling a lot, and there's came across a problem about 5 years ago where I hired a couple bounty hunters to find someone for me, and I haven't heard nor seen hide nor tail of them since. So I did hear they were somewhere here in Ironquell.
Is that so?
Yes. I thought
Well,
it
I'm afraid
would hide.
adv-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
it's okay. Well, I don't get a whole lot of adventurers. Mostly those wanting to make it big, but I have other connections.
And he smiles and just kind of rests his elbows on his knees as he leans a little further forward. I thought you might. You see, I need someone to at least send them a message. If not, track
Well,
them down. Uh, Give them incentive to make good on our deal.
I don't know if I have a messenger, but I do have a hunter, if that's what you want.
His his face splits into a much wider grin. Yeah, I think that'll do nicely.
Well, what's in it for me? I don't work for free.
Well, I figured you won't. Now, I don't know what the exchange rate here is, but I do. And he just kind of moves his shoulders and the blade goes clink clink. Have skills myself that I could provide you.
Oh, I don't need another bodyguard.
I ain't
No,
offering
I.
that.
He kind of cocks another eyebrow and goes, "Oh, well, that's also something I could think about. I don't currently have anyone in need of that kind of service, though.
Hmm.
Currently, I deal more in blackmail. It's a lot more popular around these parts.
Really?
Yes, I have quite a lot of it on Dodo Studios specifically, if I'm one to brag. But that wouldn't mean much to a real kind like you. Someone so well traveled probably doesn't even know what that is."
I'm a roll history. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so it's +2. Yeah, that's a 5. That's a 3 plus
Nope!
2. He has no idea. He just kind of shakes his head. I hadn't the slightest idea what Dodo Studios is.
Oh, well, that's all right. It's not really any of your concern. Nowhere near your field of expertise.
Hmm. he just kind of leans back a little more. Well, this body's expertise. I wouldn't say it ain't out of my range. I do more than just threaten and well, taking out the trash.
And he kind of cocks his eyebrow again and goes, "This body? That's an interesting turn of phrase."
He just kind of uh threads his fingers together, and you notice the very shiny, very probably magical ring on his finger.
Well, Myra's a guy of shinies. I point at his sorcerer subclass.
Yeah.
Um, he he glances at the ring and goes, "Well, isn't that a nice ring?"
Yes. Well, Silex found me. I. And he got a little more than he bargained for.
Found you.
Yes.
Well, I am a tune of information trading, mostly. Why don't you tell me a little more about yourself? Maybe we have a deal.
Well, that's interesting. All right. What do you want to know?
Well,
Wow, I'm
first
going
things.
off.
he Myra kind of leans forward a bit and spreads his hands across the table and just kind of leans into a sort of chin hands position and just goes, "Well, you said something about this body. Again, such an interesting turn of phrase. Would you mind elaborating on that for me?"
He nods and he just kind of tilts his head a little bit, and there's an awful lot of braided hair there. Like it's been growing for quite a long time. And he says, well, of course, I've already said I'm actually the ring on this fool's finger. And this fool that I've taken control of, his name is Silex. Or it was.
"So what's your name then, little ring?"
Not gonna come up with a name because I didn't expect this to go either. Uh, hold on while Heartless tries to think. Uh,
Myra's a guy of information. He just wants to know shit so he can use it. Uh,
hmm. Well, I suppose. I've gone by a couple different names over the years, but Belial might be a good name for me.
Belial, then.
Yeah.
Well then, Belial, I'm curious. What kind of creature gets trapped in a ring?
I ain't trapped here. I am the ring.
Well, that's an interesting form for a person to take. Unless you're not a person.
Well, I think I became a person after that foolish angel ripped his soul out. And as he says that, he lifts up the hand with the ring and taps on Silex's chest.
Well, that's quite a feat.
I know. I was kind of angry with her, so I threw her, well, into my creator's dimension. But now I can't talk with her because I ain't going back there.
And Myra kind of chuckles alongside, like, and then uh, cocks his round little head around a little and goes, "Your creator? Now that's information I'm interested in."
Oh, well, at least you ain't like that North guy. My creator is the darkness. I want you to roll religion.
Religion.
Yes.
Oh, he's not great at that.
This is a religion check.
Yeah, that's a 6. That's a 6. So Myra kind of lets out a chuckle and kind of goes, "The darkness, like the thing kids are afraid of when they're young."
I suppose that's well, to think. You ain't real religious, are you?
No, I tend to not deal with the divine. I make my own way, and no luck or lady could tell me what to do.
Well, how about I enlighten you a little bit?
By all means, information is my trade. Enlighten me all you wish.
So the darkness is a fiend, particularly strong one. He tends to go by a couple of different names, but the darkness is one of the common ones. He rather likes to take people and get them to do things that make them slip further and further from themselves until they become him. I'm one such creation. I was made to tempt, and tempt I did. I tempt people with power, and then when they can't control me, I take them over. Like Silex.
Do you want to roll insight?
Yeah!
See how Myra's holding up after hearing all that?
Let's see, Belial, your wisdom is a +2. That's a 10.
Well, Myra rolled a 12 in deception, so he's rather nonchalant
Hmm.
about this. He doesn't seem to mind. this train of thought.
Mhm. And Silex leans forward. Belial leans forward and leans a little heavily on his knees, and he goes, "Well, most people don't just look just like that when I say something like that."
Oh, I'm just kind of curious. What, did you come to here to tempt me as well, or do you actually need my help?
No, I actually need your help because don't I don't come from this world. So I don't know anything about Inkwell. It's rather confusing.
Indeed, tunes do not follow the same logic you real kind do, which makes you all so fascinating.
I rather find every race is kind of fascinating if you watch them for a little while, like I have.
Well, that's something we have in common then.
So, like I said before, beyond what this body can do, I have other uses. I ain't about to give up this body to do any of my usual sort of tempting, but I can corrupt even those who think they're doing the right thing.
Well, I can tell you this much. I'm no good guy in this story.
Story.
It's all a plot. All tunes follow one. I just happen to be the villain in the one I'm a part of.
Well, I ain't on the up and up.
Oh, I'm not going to.
What? I think there was a
Uh,
misunderstanding though. There. Belial said, I ain't on the up and up.
oh. Damn it, the country accent got me. I was waiting I was waiting for that when I would misunderstand. Ignore that then. Ignore what. Yeah,
Mhm.
just ignore. uh
Well, I've given some thought to uh, the other things that I can do for you. Hmm?
well, I'll keep them in mind. I'll send you a paper airplane if I feel I need your services. It's how I keep in touch with most of them. But you've given me information. That's traditionally what I take as payment. Gold doesn't mean much when you can conjure it out of thin air.
Gold doesn't mean much to me either.
Then we are of similar thought.
It is quite interesting.
Hmm.
Well, I just gave you the surface. And that was enough.
Well, if you're willing to give more, I might be able to offer more services.
And he smiles. Well, if it don't work out with those two bounty hunters, I'll definitely need more services. Still have to find that vole. What do you want to know?
Well, you seem to be quite the chatterbox. You said I only know the surface. Let's just keep going deeper then.
Well, you see, both this fool and I, we come from a place called Exandria. Ain't on any of your maps because it ain't here. It's across different worlds on the material plane.
Well, that's quite strange. How on earth did you all get here, then? If it's not on the same plane as us. I know plane travel exists.
It's a little tricky between worlds. They're all on the same material plane, but they ain't reachable by normal planar travel. At least that's what I have uh, gathered on my travels. But, well, it's a lot easier for me as I can open the way between two worlds when they overlap just by tearing them open with and he just kind of rolls his wrist and a some kind of dark smoky cloud just kind of forms around his arm and it keeps wrapping like up to his elbow.
And, Myra's one eye kind of curves at the bottom line into a sort of smile, uh, and kind of gestures vaguely at it and goes, well, that's a neat party trick.
Yeah, well, the thing about being created by something as strong as an archdemon means you can do little tricks with it. And he just kind of reaches out and slashes downwards, and it's almost like a rend has been created in the air. And through it, you can see a different place for a moment. Looks like you're on a beach. And off in the distance, there's a city. And then the rend just kind of forms up again.
God, you said beach and I immediately remembered the fucking Kingdom Hearts trailer. I don't even know if that's the same fucking beach. My brain just connected dots.
N-
And I went, God damn it! Uh,
Now, do think that through there was Nicodranus.
hmm. All right then.
So, psst, not the same beach. It is a beach, though.
I, if that is a reference, I don't get it. I, I'm looking at the gallery, and if it's Critical Role, I don't get it.
It's it is so Exandria is from Critical Role, but the specific time period I'm using is far removed from Critical Role to the point where I touched none of their actual IP. This is for you, YouTube.
Understandable. Have a nice. Myra, Myra stares into this little crack and or a gouge in the air and kind of glances back up at him and goes, "Well, that's fascinating. Another world just overlapping ours. Hmm?
Yeah, well, some maps kind of like depict them floating separated in space, and that's not true. Although here seems to be a little easier than other places.
Must be all that toon shenanigans. We tend to break the rules of reality more often than not. Hammer spaces, rules of funny and cool. The world breaks whenever we wish it.
Interesting. What's a hammer space?
Oh, let me show you. And he reaches into his vest pocket and pulls out a stack of papers from nowhere. It's a pocket dimension each tune has, a place where we can store whatever we wish. There's oxygen in there, though it can't be too big, as far as I'm aware. I use it to keep my paperwork. But if we fumble, and he puts the papers back in and then reaches in and is deliberately going to fumble. So I rolled for that. Where is the default hammer space? He pulls out a teapot.
Well,
Sometimes you pull out the things you don't expect to find. When did that even get in there?
that's certainly interesting. So that natural one was to remember if he's ever heard of anything like this. He has not. He has not heard of any bag of holding. What are those? He doesn't know what those are. He does understand what's going on. He just, well, I've never seen anything like that.
I'm surprised. Real kind have something similar they've concocted. And as he's saying this, he's putting the teapot back into his hammer space. Uh, which just vanishes when he puts it in his breast pocket, which is strange because he's flat as a piece of paper.
He's flat as a piece of paper. The breast pocket is not big enough for a teapot, but it definitely goes
Yep.
in.
And he kind of cocks a head and leans back. Uh, you real kind created something similar without the fumble part. What was it again? Ah, a bag of holding.
Well, shit, that sounds mighty convenient.
Yes, it quite is. And especially without the fumbles. Those are tedious.
I do think the problem with the bag would be that it could get stolen. Hmm.
That is true.
There are upsides and downsides.
The fumbles aren't that annoying to risk everything being stolen. But that's enough about tunes. I'm here to listen about what you have to say. And the more you tell me, the better that bounty hunter or hunter gets.
Well, let's go a little deeper. I mentioned a place through there, and the Renton reality is still kind of sealing itself up. Like the you can no longer see the beach or the city, but the line is kind of like bubbling with the thick black smoke he had used
Mm-hmm.
to tear it open. Like, you're not supposed to do that.
Myra does not perceive. He's more interested in what this person is.
Well, I guess that's just for the audience then.
I mean, he sees it. He doesn't care. He
Yeah.
he's just like whatever. Cool party trick, I guess. Tell me more.
So, I was in Nickel Drawness, 10 or 20 years ago. And you look at this half orc, and he definitely looks 23.
Eh, he kind of he kind of writes it off as he's talking to the ring, not the body. Whatever, it's
Mhm.
fine. He's 44. He doesn't care.
Yeah, I think it was about 10-ish years ago, and this scientist, Mr. North, the one I mentioned earlier, was very interested in figuring out how, well, Silex had lived uh, since he was a prominent figure in this Mr. North's history. I really didn't care, so I didn't really remember how long ago Silex was supposed to have lived.
It's mighty hard to pretend to be someone if you can't remember how old they're supposed to be.
Well, I remember how long it's been since I had this body, and that's about 523 years, but I've been kind of hopping worlds, so it's kind of hard to keep track of how long it's time's passed between worlds.
Ah, 523, huh?
Well, I've had the body for 500 years. He was 23 when I got him.
Well, at least you remember that much. Though I suppose you're much, much older than that.
Course I am. Let's see. Before Silex, I think someone named Quark. Yeah, someone named Quark picked me up. That was a long, long time before Silex.
Note to self, that's not my character, Quark. That's a different character named Quark.
Yeah, Quark. Or was his name Quark?
I, I was like, wait a minute, I'm not involved with this. Huh?
Yeah, I think his name was Quark. Some kind
It's
of
not spelled the same, don't
necromancer.
worry. Quark.
Yeah, I think so. Let me double check my notes so I can remember what that goddamn necromancer's name is. Cause I've just connected things all over the place.
I'm using Myra to gain a bunch of information about Eclipse of the Age.
That's what Thrall is doing. Except Thrall started because somebody gave Thrall a box with a broken device in it.
I just like Myra to have connections. If this means I get to learn other lore, then whatever.
Yeah, his name was Korik.
Cork.
It's a rather weird name, but he talked with a Zemnian accent. That probably don't mean nothing to you.
Doesn't ring any bells. Presumably one of these other planes overlapped with ours.
Yeah, it's a place in Exandria, or a people, I suppose. Now, Quark wanted to use my power to, well, make his necromancy more powerful. you can prob you can probably guess how that ended up for him.
Well, a lich is never successful.
He didn't even make it to Lich. He got caught because well, usually I like to just destroy everything around the people that I capture. And that's what I did when I got Silex. He was so worried about some dragon named Vitreous. So I let him in. I let him know where we were. And just as I expected, poor Silex's friend, oh, what was his name? He was a dragon too, but he was like, I don't know, a bronze dragon or something like that. um, Something that started with a Z. Zephyr, something like that. And as soon as I let Vitreous know where we were, well, he damn near just, well, almost took Silex's head off. I'd just jump out of the way so I could have more fun. But he tore that Zephyr into, I don't know, a couple different pieces. Tore him
How
to
dubious.
shreds. It was quite fun to watch, especially as that, uh, well, foolish half angel started yelling about Silex, about how he betrayed them.
Sounds like an entertaining day. Oh, if I could have been there to watch.
It was certainly fun to rile her up. uh, Fun kind of ended when she just took Zephyr and just split because see, he was a blue dragon, I think. Yeah, he was a blue dragon. He just kind of turned on me and asked me where the hell they went. I'm like, I know. Why don't you try to find them yourself? Which is probably a very hard thing to say to a dragon, but well, he wasn't really interested in me. He's more
Got off
interested.
scot-free.
Yep. He was more interested in that Zephyr. So after he flew off somewhere, well, I was just on my merry way to go destroy some other things, some villages, when that half angel who became an angel somehow grabbed me and pulled me into this different place, which was very interesting because there ain't nobody around in there. Just a whole lot of nothing. Dust. And their blades. And he reaches up and he unsheathes the greatsword, and it's different from most greatswords you've seen because it looks like a key.
Oh, oh, okay. Puts my head in my hands. Oh, this is Kingdom Hearts. This is Kingdom Hearts.
Yes, it is. It's a key sword.
I don't know what I was expecting.
And I
Myra,
hit everyone with the psychic damage. Myra.
Myra looks at the screens. Hold on. Myra looks. I rolled a whiz save. It was a 5. He looks at this key sword, this key-shaped sword,
Yep.
and gives the most unimpressed look. Yes, he glances it up and down, and just glances from the sword to the half orc to the sword to Relyle, and just goes, "For a real kind, you have an awfully toonish sword. Does that even kill? Does that even hurt anyone?"
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, do. In fact, I use well, this key sword, which was different from Silex's because I don't know where his went, but I just pulled this one out of the ground. I've killed plenty of people with this. Damn near ended a kingdom with it, too. Which is
Well, I'm.
why I need to find that Vol and finish what I started.
Hmm.
So are you going to examine the blade? It's like laying flat across his hands and his legs, and he's just kind of lounging back in the chair now.
Myra, Myra leans forward and examines the key sword.
Roll me an investigation.
Uh, he's not great at that either. Oh, he rolled a 16.
Hey, that's not bad. So as you're looking
Give me
over
psychic
this,
damage like that.
yeah, as you're looking over the sword, well, you can tell that it is deadly sharp and serrated along the tines. It's actually a pretty nasty weapon.
It's fine. It's cool. It's chill.
It's got a pretty, a very pretty, like, gold eye-like gem in its hilt.
A golden eye gem in its hilt.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you said? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to remember
Sorry.
everything. No, it's okay.
If you're trying to remember everything, this is why I said have your notes.
I normally don't take notes.
Well, this is also why we record.
Exactly.
Also, as you're looking up and down this blade, and the blade itself is actually like black with red and gold accents along the hilt.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and as you're looking at the blade, the eye-like gem that you thought was just a gem moved and looks at you.
And he stares back.
Make me a wisdom save.
Oh god. Uh, he doesn't have a modifier for that. Oh, okay. Okay, Myra. Okay. Oh, Myra, we're really in it now.
What'd he get? What'd he get? Oh yeah, it's a 6! Amazing.
Oh, Myra, we're really in it now. What the fuck are you gonna do to my horrible UPA?
So, as Myra is looking at doing a staring contest with this eye-like gem, there's something about it that calls to Myra's natural thirst for knowledge. And
Great.
you you now want to know everything you can about the darkness, and
Cool, great.
because, well, if there's an offer of power there, maybe you could harness that for yourself.
Oh. That's my head in my hands. Alright, cool.
Congrats, you're obsessed with the darkness now.
Cool, cool, great. Tack that onto everything else he's obsessed with. Cool.
Mhm. Obsession is a type of corruption. And you're
Yep, he's. Go on, go on.
and after a few moments you break eye contact with the gem. Now go ahead.
Oh. He takes his eyes off of the blade and looks over at Relisle and how composed is he right now? Let's find out. Pretty damn composed from whatever the fuck just happened. He rolled a 25 in deception.
Hold on, I'm gonna roll. I probably won't make it, but gonna roll insight with advantage
Yeah, go for
because
it.
Belial knows
Yeah?
what he just did. It's not enough to peer through, but that's a 17 plus 2. That's a 19.
He did pretty damn good.
Mhm.
Myra is a fucking statue.
Yeah.
As he blinks once or twice before his eye curls into um another sort of like smile, like a smiled squint. Uh and he just looks at Relisle and goes, "Well, that's a very fancy blade you've got there."
Yeah, I'm glad I could well take it over like I took over this body.
Quite.
And he lifts the blade and sheathes it again.
And Myra takes takes his seat again and
Mhm.
crosses his legs and threads his hands together and goes, "Well, you've certainly given me a lot of information."
Yeah, I have. Is that enough?
I'd say that's enough to get my best bounty hunter I've got. And
Perfect.
he leans over, and there is a landline, like you'd see in like offices.
Mhm.
And he presses down on a button and goes, uh, Tatiana, do you think you could head to my office real quick? And there's a stern, like, yes, Mr. Maines. And he lets off on the button, and through the door walks uh, another tall toon with one very large claw, who is a Warforged toon,
Mhm.
uh, with a big head full of flowers, and she walks in and she puts a hand on her hip and goes, "Finally have another job for me." And Mr. Myra Maines kind of nods and goes, "Yes, I have I have a group of people that need to be tracked down. Do you think you're up for it?" And she gives a sly smile at Relisle and goes, "Of course I'm ready for it. You haven't given me a job in months."
Well, let me just tell you about him. And we're gonna cut there because obviously the two tunes that Belial gives is Fox and Ducky Claw. that's
God.
that's the descriptions that he gives.
And I get to whip out a character I've never used before.
Thank you for joining us for this.
Uh, Chuckles, I'm in danger, personally.
Thank you, Doc, for indulging me and placing your horrible, horrible UPAN down in the way of the darkness.
Thank you for torturing my horrible, awful bastard UPA and more, because he deserves it.
And thank you all for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.